your one-stop shop for great wrestling. WrestleCopia.com, where you'll find an armload of great wrestling podcasts. Some are weekly, some are not. All of them are great. Ray Russell brings WrestleCopia to you, including his own show, The Wrestling Memory Grenade. There's Re-Show Wrestling, The Wrestling Stoop with Bob Roop, The Pure Wrestling Academy, Retro Wrestling Review with Gene Jackson, Dave Dynasty's Wrestling Nostalgia, Monday Warfare Raw vs. Nitro, The Other Ship Podcast, The Captain's Corner Podcast, and much, much more. Great hosts, great shows. I guarantee you'll learn something every time you tune in to the WrestleCopia Podcast Network. Where do you find all these shows? How about starting it this way? Just log on to WrestleCopia.com. There's nothing else like it anywhere. Dick the Bruiser, Bobby Heenan, the Blackjacks, Baron Von Raschke, Wilbur Snyder, El Bracero, Dominica DiNucci. Go way down the list. That was the World Wrestling Association, one of the favorite wrestling companies of our guest. Dave Dynasty of Wrestling Nostalgia Podcast, another WrestleCopia title. And he's here. He's going to talk to Bob. And of course, Bob and Joe will go over creamy confections once again on the Outdated Wrestling Hour. Do I really have to read this? Okay. Kids love it. That's right. Dave Dynasty is back here on the Outdated Wrestling Hour with Robert Smith and Joe Puccio. Some people call him Monroe. I'm not even going to ask. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Bob. Yeah, it's this one. Let's leave this one up to mystery. I won't.
Yeah, he's got his studio name today is Monroe. He kind of explained it to me before I hit the record button. I'm like, okay, fine.
yeah. Why not? But no, I'm glad to be back. Yeah, this is a show I'm really looking forward to.
Dave's just one of those guys who makes the whole wrestling scene better with his knowledge and his willingness to share information about the old days. People say I'm a historian. Nah, guys like Dave are the historians. Guys like Dave Brzezinski and stuff like that. I have some memories that are pretty good, and I've got a lot of anecdotes and some trivia that some people don't have. But I think these are the real historians that are really, trying to keep the spirit of the old shit alive. And I think more power to them. They entertain me every single day on Facebook, so I don't know what to say other than thank both of them.
Agreed. I mean, I think as the years go by and the older we get, we're still talking about this stuff, but it's just a fact that there's less and less people talking about this stuff, keeping it alive, whether it's through YouTube or their streaming channels or just podcasts or whatever it is. I definitely appreciate that. Appreciate the analysis and the looking back at all the old stuff that we love.
Before we get into the meat of our discussion here, we're going to talk about two things we talked about recently. Number one, we're going to go back to Carvel now. What happened is I wanted to get an interview with somebody with the Carvel Company, right? So I knew where this person was for the longest time, and it was in my local Carvel. And I tried all the other Carvels, couldn't find him. I go back to my local one, and he was gone. Of course, I'm speaking of Fudgy the Whale. For the longest time in my local shop, there was a life-size cutout of the man wearing the Fudgy the Whale costume. And I wanted to interview Fudgy. get a couple pictures of that, but they took the thing out of there. Can you believe it? Can you
What
believe it?
look? What look?
I know. I thought I was gonna now I'm gonna have to keep my eye on local carvels because, every so often they'll have a special day or a treat day or something,
Right.
and there will be a man in a fudgy outfit at the carvel. And I wanna get into the secrets of what it's like to be an ice cream icon and, you know, I don't know if I'll have to jump into a big pool with him or something like that, but I need to get to the bottom of Fudgy the Whale. I think he's one of my favorite celebrities, to be honest.
He's big time for sure. I've never seen that at my local Carvel. I have 2 Carvels that we frequent. The one main one, which is the closest one to us, it's very, very small, but, I've never seen this in,
Yeah.
my neck of the woods.
This is a small one too,
Okay.
and for some reason, they had this thing in there for 20 years,
Hmm.
and I remembered it. I was gonna make some kind of a gag about this, and gonna go interview Fudgy and take pictures to prove it, that would've been awesome. But they took it out. It was there I'm telling you, I moved in that apartment that I'm in now in 1994, and I've been going to that Carvel since then. But you'd walk in, the first thing you see is the big waving and smiling Fudgy, and he's not there no more.
Wow.
So, folks, I'm gonna get to the bottom of all this. I wanna get an interview with one of the Carvel characters as soon as I can.
And this was
And
just
I
Fudgy?
know
You never
yeah,
saw
just
anybody
fu
else? No
No,
cookie
I
clips
didn't
or
see
anything?
Winky the Witch or Dumpy the Pumpkin
Okay.
or who are the others?
Cookie Puss,
Cookie Puss.
I guess Fudgy would be considered he's the A-lister. I think Fudgy's the head honcho.
But in any event, no, have you noticed I posted some photos on Facebook that I hope you would enjoy of new flavors we tried at Carvel?
I certainly did. I appreciate the tags, and,
Well, have you had any lately? Did you go back?
let's see. I wanna say about, 3 weeks ago,
Oh, there you go.
I went.
Okay.
Yeah, we had, again, and I don't like to sound like a broken record, but again, my wife and I are big fans of the Wacky Wednesdays, buy one, get one free Sunday, and, that's what it is. It's usually the way it works out is my wife is out. I'm working usually. My wife is doing something. She's running errands, and I always know it's coming. Wednesday, as the afternoon wears on, I get a text. I'm like, well, let me see. Sure enough, it's her. And all she says is, buy one, get one. That's her, that's her text.
Oh, that's
And it's
good.
like our
That's
sort
good.
of secret little code. Not that it's secret, but it's just our little thing. And she says it. And then it's up to me to decide, whether or not we're going to splurge on this particular Wednesday or not. As I've said before, I don't always say yes. I don't want to have it every Wednesday for obvious reasons. Can't really have too much of that stuff. But
Wait. I think once a week wouldn't kill you, would it?
well, it wouldn't kill me, no. But I don't know. I
Yeah,
mean,
because since we have started these discussions, I've had more Carvel in the last 2 months than I've had in the last 15 years. We have
really
gone, I'd say 3 times, since all this
okay.
started, and I still recommend the Carvalanche Crunchies flavor. I think it's the bee's knees.
I
It's
know.
the best next thing to the cake.
I know, and I'm still looking when we had that show, well, a few episodes ago about the different flavors that you have to special order, and I'm still seeking out that peanut butter one, which is right up my alley. I don't know. I mean, see, here's another thing about it. I know we're in the summer right now, but I've never been one to only, for me, it doesn't just have to be summer. So what I'm saying is, we could be in November, it could be the fall,
Mhm.
could be in December for the hell of it. And if I feel like getting Carvel, we'll get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not like it's just a summertime thing either. So it's not like as soon as the summer's over, that's it. We're packing up, and we're not going to eat ice cream again. We'll do it.
Now, on a recent show, I went through the offerings of cakes that they have on their website, thecarvel.com, and I will hype them every time. But when you walk into the stores, there's that big book there.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
can flip it. There's even more varieties in that book than there is in the website.
yeah.
It's incredible.
It's funny. I've never looked at. I know. I Now that you mention it, I do always see that book there. I don't think I've ever looked at it.
That's where people can come in and choose
Yeah.
a variety of either novelty, well, they're all novelties, but cakes or characters,
Right.
depending on what you're looking for.
Right. Right.
There's a baseball bat or the baseball glove or the baseball itself or the basketball or the football. It's Carvel. American tradition. At least here in the East Coast. Now, the other thing we need to talk about. A couple shows ago, you and I, they said, Bob and Joe really went at it. And people thought we were angry with each other. Then it's false. We were not angry. Were you angry? I wasn't angry. We had a difference of opinion about a couple things, but I'm about to shock you. I'm sick of WWE too. I'm sick of it. I am sick up and fed with the WWE. And I have my reasons for this. It's everything is so far away now from any semblance of a sporting event. We got Jelly Roll. Speaking of confections, right? We got Jelly Roll and teaming up with Randy Orton, and they're going to have a big match with who cares? Yeah. But this isn't the thing. I'll tell you what I'm mad about. You making a kick out of this, and I talked about this on Facebook a couple days ago. DVR Saturday Night's Main Event. I was out doing stuff, so I come home real late, and I started flipping through the matches, and they stop on Solo Sikoa versus Uso for the 900th time, right? So I'm watching this match. Of course, Solo's got like three guys. Three guys with him right at ringside. They just let him hang out there. They're not there. They're not there to root.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. And then this is the thing. They go to a commercial break, middle of the match. They come back, and they're battling on the apron. The apron means you're outside the ring, right? You get counted out for battling. Not anymore, you don't. So I'm watching this. I go to the beginning of the commercial break. They're already on the apron. I'm counting in my head. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. I counted to a minute 20. A minute 20. You're supposed to have a 10 count. A minute 20 of them just battling. There's a referee, female referee, standing in the center of the ring with her arms stretched, doing nothing. Nothing. If you're not going to have any rules, what's the point of all this? Just have two guys hit each other in the head with crutches all day. I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
and I understand that there was a women's pay-per-view that was called Evolution the next night,
Right.
which supposedly was very good. But I haven't seen it, and I'm not in the mood to look at it after all this. I see things like this, and it's like, I remember we used to argue in the PWI office about the guy didn't have his hand on the tag rope. You remember the tag team matches, right?
Yeah.
Or he's got a clenched fish. He should have been disqualified within the first minute of the match. These type of things. Craig Peters was real big on rules. He said they can let him get away with too much. It's nothing compared to now.
Yeah.
Constant outside interference. It's the same thing over and over again. They just mix up the faces.
Yeah. The count out thing, it's funny because they'll try to justify it, the commentators, specifically things like that. If you ever listen closely, you'll hear whoever it is, Michael Cole or whoever's doing the commentating, say, sometimes they'll actually call attention to it. And they'll say, oh, they've been out there or for a long time. And Cole will say, well, thankfully, the referee is using their discretion. The referee has allowed them to do this, almost as if to say, like, we know they're breaking the rules, but the referee is doing it for the good of the match, for the good of the fans, that the referee is letting them break the rules or let them do this so that we can continue the match. And that's something that I want to say has happened. I mean, it happens pretty often now, but probably over the last 10, 15 years or so that it's gotten kind of prevalent. Referee discretion. The referee has decided to, let them go at it. So that's how they kind of like justify that and sort of say like, well, this is why it's happening. But yeah, I mean, it's a matter of things that we've talked about. It's the rules just keep getting more lax to the point where sometimes they follow them, sometimes they don't. It really depends on the way the match was booked and what kind of story they're telling. If they want to tell a story where these things have to happen, where these guys have to be out on the ring apron for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, they're just going to do it. And they're not going to worry about if anything actually makes sense within the rules.
Well, yeah, but it's just a stipulation that says, no DQ, which means do whatever you want. That's fine.
Right.
But this was just a regular match, I think. I kept waiting for somebody to say it was no DQ or there's special rules or something. I didn't hear it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh.
No, I hear
I don't know why this bothers me so much. Watch the referee sometime. You know how you watch the Three Stooges, you just look at Larry?
Yeah.
Because you've been looking at Mo and Curly the whole time because they're the funny ones,
Yeah.
But Larry's funny too. If you watch him, you find out how funny he really is reacting to things. He's the glue. He's the referee of the Three Stooges for Larry Fine is now. Watch the referees in the WWE these days. They will step back and do nothing.
Right.
Nothing. People get on the apron, not even a warning. Somebody interloper comes in. It's just old to me. It's rote. It's not creative,
It's a way out, whereas more in the past, it was the bookers, they had more things that they had to sort of abide by, more rules, and that kind of made it a little bit more creative and it made the show a little bit better. But now they don't really have to abide by that stuff. It's basically anything goes, to the point where I guess they just hope viewers at home don't care. And I'll be honest with you, I feel like the majority of viewers today probably don't. The majority of wrestling fans who are watching the product, because they're conditioned to not care.
Yeah, right. It's different.
Yeah.
This is an old fogey who grew up watching disqualifications and countouts and rules. There'd always be a little referee in the middle of the, between two mastodons with a bow tie or a striped shirt. He'd
Right.
do everything he could to, keep law and order going in the ring, and he would DQ you. Dick Worley will DQ you.
Yep.
Right. Well, those days are over. I mean, it's just, I am, like I say, I'm screaming into a cave. And everybody's moved out of the cave. I'm just yelling at nobody at this point about what wrestling has become. And I think Howard Baum and I are the closest to.
Yeah.
I said online today that I think we're brothers from other mothers, because it's like we are both really getting tired of the erosion of traditional professional wrestling mores, shall I say? Traditions, the way a match is booked, the way a card is booked. The realism of it. Nobody cares about realism. If they cared about realism, there would never be a Wyatt 6, all right?
Right.
Right? It wouldn't. It just wouldn't. It's stupid. I mean, so, it's all a big show. You know what? If I'm going to watch a big show, I'm going to watch a big show that isn't like fake athletics in it. And, this is what's bothering me. It's,
Yeah.
And again, you'll have a card with something really stupid on it. Like, and we were talking to the NWA a few weeks. The guy, lost a match, so I don't even know how to say this. Remember the one they did an angle where I think it was a small wrestler, a midget wrestler. I don't want to use that word, but the guy was a smaller wrestler. He
Right.
lost a match to somebody, so the other guy got to hit him in the crotch with a fist. That started the show. That was an angle on the NWA. He gets hit in the dick.
This was in
I
Billy
mean,
Corgan's NWA?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
no,
I mean,
I actually don't remember it offhand.
no,
Yeah.
you wouldn't, because
Yeah.
you would switch the channel off. The minute
Yeah.
that is your lead off on your program, you just stop watching. You go, I'm not watching this. And that's what I did. I stopped watching it. Again, structure. I crave a structured sport, like, at least when the match is going on. You can do all kinds of weird things backstage and have interviews and all that. That's always been part of it.
Yeah.
But now it's just so out there. It's and everybody's got a faction, and nobody's a scientific wrestler anymore. Nobody's a rule breaker anymore. You get booed because you have an attitude, just like Buddy Rogers did. Like Gunther gets booed for the same reason. That's old school. But I just see. I don't know. I'm an old man. That's all I know.
Well, can I just circle back to somebody you just mentioned before in passing, but I did just because you brought it up. You mentioned Jelly Roll in WWE. So I completely admit that celebrity involvement in wrestling, yes, it's been around for years, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not good, whatever the case is. This Jelly Roll dude, I mean, this guy really is annoying the hell out of me lately, because not only is he showing up everywhere, now he's showing up in WWE. And as we tape this just recently, like you mentioned, he's gonna, I guess, have a match now on SummerSlam. It looks like he's going to team up with Randy Orton, whatever the case is, against Logan Paul and somebody. To me, it's just so grating. I mean, to see him involved, I feel like he has no place in it. It just doesn't interest me in the least. I get it. He's a big star. He's a big singer. He's famous, whatever. But I don't know. It's just one of the things that completely turns me off about watching it. And as I was watching it this past weekend, or whenever it was that they aired this angle, he's trying to, he's all getting pissed off because the heels are beating on Randy Orton and he couldn't take it anymore. And what does he do? He goes and he just like with one punch, he just like lays out Logan Paul, this guy who has no wrestling training, nothing, and they're pumping him up. You got to think somebody like Randy Orton too is probably like behind the scenes, like, oh crap, I have to participate in this angle. I know Orton's not exactly by all accounts, the most, he's not the easiest guy in the back to get along with. So you got to think he's not, and it's not just WWE. Because again, I know, we go head to head on this, and I like AEW, but AEW, it annoys the crap out of me with this AJ Big Justice guy, this guy that I had never heard of before he appeared on AEW. He's this big social media guy, and he's out there with his kid. He's an independent wrestler and his kid, and they talk about bringing the boom, and every other line on AEW now is we're going to give you the boom and this and that. It's just so horrible. And I'm like, I have to ask, is it really doing anything for the product? Like, is it actually adding buys? Is it actually adding viewers? I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe I'm naive. Maybe, there are fans that are actually like, oh, I'm going to watch this because I want to see Jelly Roll. I don't know.
Here's the problem. Every organization in the world, entertainment or sports, is now relying on social media hits as a directional for them, the way they do their business. This past week was the Major League Baseball All-Star game, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a guy in the National League, a pitcher who got on after he's had 5 starts in the major leagues. He didn't play the whole first half, 5 appearances, and they put him on the All-Star team. Why? Because he's popular on social media.
Get out of here, really?
Swear to you.
Okay.
Everybody's looking, why just after 5 starts? And then he realized he's already got this huge following on social media for whatever reason it may be. Everything is the sizzle, nothing's the steak now. Everything is the hype more than it is the substance, no matter what you point at. So it's even leaking into the legitimate sports at this point. I don't know what to say other than I liked it better than the old days, There'd be 50 guys on, 25-man teams on the All-Stars, and you'd have old managers like Red Shanedeets, Whitey Herzog, and you just go down the list of all the, Casey Stengel, it was, and people, I'm old. I don't know. I just know that this is what's bothering me, folks, as I'm talking to you all out there. I'm starting not to like it now. I've never not liked professional wrestling. I've always watched it since 1970. I've never missed it. I felt I had to watch it. Skipped church with my parents because I had to see it.
Right.
Got a job with the world's best wrestling magazine and spent many years covering it both in person and, around the country. And now it's all in my rearview mirror, and I'm looking at it as everything's in the past, including my enjoyment. I know my job was in the past, but my enjoyment was kind of steady up to last year's WrestleMania. Now I'm starting to fade, and it bothers me. What should I do?
Just watch the old stuff.
Yeah.
I can't say I'm at that point because admittedly, I do still enjoy a lot of it. I think in my case, and I've been pretty vocal about this, I feel like the biggest thing is just the excessive amount of it. And I feel like it's just on all the time. It's everywhere. And I don't care what promotion you watch. It doesn't matter what promotion, whether you're like AEW or WWE or TNA or any of the indies, whatever it is. It's just, there's so much of it. And it's just trying to keep up with it. It almost feels like a chore. That bleeds into why so much of it is not good anymore. It's because they have to produce so much of it. So it's like there are no more fresh ideas. There's nothing, it's not like they have a week to think about a 1 hour show. No, they have a week now to think about a 3 hour show, followed by a 2 hour show, followed by a 3 hour pay-per-view. It's just way too much. And I get it's because of rights fees and because of the advertisers and the pay-per-views and all this stuff. But the fans are definitely the ones that are losing out in this case because you're just not getting, you're diluting it. You're diluting the product.
Everything is overbooked. You could start a feud in the ring, rather than, 2 guys jumping each other and backstage and beating each other up near the, locker room or, yelling at each other in the ring for literally 8 weeks before the next pay-per-view. Just start it in the ring. Have a two evenly matched competitors, one good guy, one bad guy. It worked for 50 years, and somebody gets fouled and sneaks their way into a victory, which starts a feud. It's happened
Yeah.
a million times, and it never got old. Just
Yeah.
that simple. Sometimes there were some of the classic feuds they never even had an interview.
Right.
Not together. You see, that's that's a good point. This is the way wrestling's changed. There'd be interviews during a feud, but they'd be with the announcer, not with the opponent standing in the middle of the ring.
Right.
Now they have to confront each other and insult each other for 15 minutes at the beginning of every weekly program. It's dumb.
Yeah.
It's dumb. What are we gonna have? We're gonna have a show with the Met manager Mendoza, lacing into the Chicago Cubs manager. I mean, come on now. It's just I don't know. I keep looking for sports in my sports. That's it.
I did recently, just because I'm curious, because this is the wrestling podcast and I'm a big wrestling fan. The Hulk Hogan beer made its way to
Whoa!
the local beer shop that I go to, and I was getting my craft beers, my stuck up beers, and I see and I
Just
see
stuck up beers. I like that.
oh yeah, I'm all about stuck up beers, and I see a 12-pack of the Real American Beer. And I said, "Oh man!" I said, "It's a light beer. I'm not. I don't really like light beer. It's like an American." But I said, "You know what? I'm gonna buy it because I just want to taste it. You know what I mean? How bad could it be?" Took it home. It really is pretty awful. It's if you're somebody that really doesn't like the taste of beer and you want to have something light just for the hell of it, I guess it's for you. But it's basically like you're drinking water. It's really not to my taste, to the point where I had a buddy over a couple days ago. We were having a couple of beers. I kept offering him. I was like, "You sure you don't want to try the Real American?" I got like 10 of them in the fridge. And he was like, because he's like me. He likes, he does not like light beer. And he's like, "No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good." And then finally I sent him home with one. I said, "At least take one, closed, just take one home. So at least you could say you tried it. Have it one night when you just, you feel like having something." But anyway, yeah, it is pretty, it's pretty bland. It's not very good.
You know what beer I like, on a rare occasion, if I had to have a beer, you know what I would choose if I had the opportunity to choose it? Was it Blue Moon it's called?
Oh, you like Blue Moon?
With the
Okay.
orange slice?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I think it's absolutely delicious. I just think it tastes good.
Yeah. I
But
can't
you know how some guys are.
I can't
They
agree
they
with you on
got their
that one.
they've got their mug, and they were looking at me with my orange slice. "Hey, dude, look at you."
Hey, I don't care about that. I don't care. I mean, look, I've had when I was I'm okay with having, vodka and cranberry and drinks like that, that most people say are like whatever, girly drinks. I don't care about that. I'll drink anything, but the point is, yeah, I just never really got into Blue Moon. But yeah, it's got a lot of people love it though.
Why are we talking beer on the show without the
I don't know.
Sandman here? The Sandman should be here, right? The
It's
Sandman.
Steve Austin,
Yeah, yeah, either one of them.
who, by the way, Austin has an excellent beer. It's his IPA, his India Pale Ale, which is excellent. So if I can give a plug to that, that
Steve
beer is
Austin has a beer?
oh yeah, Austin has 2 beers. He has one, regular American beer that's sorta like your regular sort of lager, like a Budweiser, and then he has a higher alcohol one. It's an India Pale Ale. I think it's called, Broken Skull, maybe? I wanna say yeah, yeah, that's what it is, the
That
Broken
sounds right,
Skull.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and, you can get it at any beer place. I mean, it's pretty popular now, and it's really good. Yeah. He actually used to drink it when he used to do his, I remember a few years ago, he had that talk show on like the WWE network where he would interview different people. They would
Yeah,
actually go
yeah,
out to his place and he'd always have it. He'd always have it right there, front and center. He would drink it, and then whoever his guest was would drink one with him,
right,
whether it
yeah.
was Undertaker or I remember there was only a few guests that he had that did not. I think just because they don't. It might have been like Jerry Lawler or somebody like that. I know Lawler's not a drinker, people like that, but for the most part, everybody drank it with him.
I have a bottle of Fog Hat wine at home for all you classic rockers out there. I don't even remember
Oh,
how I acquired this thing.
I didn't know you were talking about the band. Oh.
Yeah, Fog Hat wine.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
I don't know what else to say. I acquired this bottle of Fog Hat wine.
So wait, this is something you're just, like, keeping as a collector's item?
Basically,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
okay.
Can't imagine trying it, but
No, I do the same thing. I have a lot of I have some specialty, with these bands. They'll do like
They do. A
yeah,
lot of them
I'm sort of a sucker for that too. I have a lot of the some of the metal bands did that back in the 80s, like bands like Whitesnake. They had their own wine. Warrant had a wine that I just kind of kept the wine as a souvenir.
Yeah, but I don't know why I held on to it because, to be honest, I'm not really a Fog Hat fan. But there it is.
Bob, you should break it
You know
out
what?
for your next anniversary. Have some fog.
Fog Hat wine. We'll have some Fog Hat wine, and we'll have some real American beer. And
Yeah.
we'll put everything in it like a big tub of ice, right? And we'll invite over the neighbors and stories of old school wrestling. No, I shouldn't say that, but it's like I don't know what to say other than it's a funny world out there, and not always laughable, but it's a funny world. And listen, just give me my wrestling back, will you? Please, somebody out there these days. I'm telling you, we got to go to the Indies. We got to go to the Indies. Got to check them out. You and me.
We should do it. I was talking to my buddy about this just the other day. We should do. I like the idea of doing the one of those Creative Pro shows out here on Long Island.
I think that we just missed one last week or something like that.
Oh, did we? Okay.
Yeah, we got to keep. But they promote a lot.
Yeah,
So I want to check them out, and I'd like to get a hold of the people involved. Maybe talk to one of them, have them on the show, and see if we can get some information on their mindset, what they're trying to accomplish. All I know is they build stars. This is for doggone sure. MJF. Need I say more?
Yeah.
And a couple of friends of mine who have been on Creative Pro shows too. So it's, wrestling friends. So it's
Right.
pretty cool. Joe Puccio is the proprietor of GenerationXWire.com, the website with a difference. Why? It's entertainment, but it's not, you're not going to read about Taylor Swift on this, or are we? Did I let the cat out of the bag? What happened?
There will, nothing against Taylor, but no, there's no Taylor on my website on Generation X Wire now.
No, there's old Taylor on your boom boom. Hey, we'll keep drinking.
You might see Taylor Dane.
That's right,
but not Taylor Swift.
Okay. Hey, tell it to my heart, dude. Anyway, oh gosh, I was at Record World. I was a Record World store manager when she was it. She had like 2 big hits back to back, I think, and she was really.
She had a couple of. She was interesting. She had she was pop, but she also had sort of like an R&B tinge to her.
Yes, she did.
Yeah, Tell It to My Heart and Don't Rush Me.
Don't Rush Me.
That was great. She had Love Will Lead You Back, which was
that's 3. You're right.
Yeah,
big
she had a lot of good songs. Yeah, she's underrated.
Great voice.
Yeah.
Great
She's
voice.
still out there. She's still doing it.
I saw that. She's touring around, quite often. So let's hear it for Long Island, folks. I believe she's from this burg, right?
She is from Long Island. Yes.
There you go. However, our guest today is going to be somebody who's not from Long Island. It's Dave Dynasty. He's the master of WWE trivia and an all-around historian. We're going to talk to him in just a couple of minutes. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back as soon as we finish our, what's it called? Real American Light Beer.
There you go. Cheers.
Is the word Hulk Hogan on the can?
Oh, yes, it is. There's a picture of, it's like, I don't think it's not a real picture, but it's like a drawing of Hogan. It says Hulk Hogan, Real American Light Beer. Absolutely.
I've seen everything. We'll be right back, folks. One of the best things about doing this podcast the last, I'll call it 3 years, I met some cool people. I mean, friends. These guys are friends of mine. I've become friends, literal friends, or get together with certain guests of mine, and it's like, this has been the best part about it. Not only rekindling old friendships from 35, 40 years ago, but I'm meeting new friends along the way. And one talented gent that I'm lucky enough to know has his own podcast here in the WrestleCopia Podcast Network. We'll talk all about that. I want to learn more about what's going on there. But he's also multifaceted when it comes to pro wrestling and other things too. He's got a great podcast called, Wrestling Nostalgia. Gets right to the point, doesn't it? And his name is Dave Dynasty. Welcome back, Dave.
Hey, Bob. How's everything going?
Oh, I don't know. Every day a little bit older, a little bit grayer,
That's right. Yeah.
Like I always say, I use just for men, but it lasts just an hour. Boom, boom. Hey.
Yeah, well.
It just grows right back. It's like amazing. It's like I've tried it. Poof.
I don't even try.
Yeah. Good thing you're saving $50 a box on that crap. So it's good. So how's the podcast going? Now, you had taken a little bit of a hiatus for a while, but you're back with both guns blazing lately. Some great episodes. Tell people who've been on the show recently and anything you want to hype about wrestling nostalgia.
Wow, what do I want to call them? Checklist kind of guests here lately. I did not too long ago. I got to interview Flying Fred Curry, which was a lot of fun. It had its own unique trepidations because Fred is in his 80s. He didn't quite understand what was going on. I don't think he just thought he was talking to me on the phone. But Fred was still the worker, still putting over his drop kick. That's what he did pretty much the entire episode. And I've come back and I don't know. I've just had the mindset of anybody that I thought could tell stories I wanted to talk to, right? Which has kind of always been the direction. But I really feel like anybody can tell, has stories to tell. And you just have to approach it the right way and talk to them the right way. And some of them, they don't believe they do, right? And they don't think anybody will want to hear them. And it's hard to convince them to. I had Dawn Prince on recently, a female wrestler from the 80s who wrestled mostly in the Midwest for Bruiser. And she didn't think anybody would care at all to hear from her. I didn't think there was, she had done enough and everything else. And it turned out to be a really fun interview. It kind of opened her eyes a little bit that a lot of what she did in the 80s may not seem like a lot to her, but it helped begin to pave a road for what the women are doing today. And a lot of things she went through and endured, it was so that they can do what they do now. Dawn Prince is her real name. Misty Dawn's her work name. I've had Scott Romer back on the show again, old friend of the show. He's always fun to talk to. Photographer extraordinaire was this Saul Creechman in Indianapolis, working for Bruiser. But one bucket list guy that I finally got to interview that I have tried pretty much since I started the show was I got to talk to Dave McClain. That was such a fun thing. And it was a whole process because I had to go through Women of Wrestling to get him. Even though I had his direct email and I had exchanged emails with him many times, he had sent me pictures, just general chat, but anything scheduling wise, I had to go through Women of Wrestling. And the people there did not like the fact that me and Dave were exchanging emails outside of them. She was very much, if you email Dave, make sure I'm tagged on. I'm like, I'm not doing that. I don't need to do that. But it was very much, she was very adamant. You got a half hour of Dave's time. That's it. I was like, okay, fine. I'll take a half hour. It's better than nothing. And we went, I think, about 45 minutes, and that was not my fault. That was Dave McClain's fault. I tried to wind it down, and Dave McClain kept telling stories. So, so if Women of Wrestling are listening, that's on him. They can put that heat on him.
Right. But, you had a lot of questions, obviously, about his time working with Bruiser, too.
Oh, I could have talked for hours upon hours to him. I had to pick and choose what I wanted to ask him about. There was a few questions I had that I had to drop because, obviously when these guys get telling stories and they get sidetracked and it brings up other things that may even be more interesting than what I was going to ask. But I could talk to him for hours because there's so many parts to what he did. And in that weird period in the 80s.
Yeah.
That's very fascinating to me.
And I know about that period thanks to you, my friend, because it's like that was the great lost organization that I never had an opportunity to see. And thanks to you with your YouTube collection of WWA and Bruiser Bedlam videos. Oh, God, I love them, man. I just love them. I've had such fun. And thanks to you, I've had people like Jerry Jaffe on the show. I've had Carter on the show. I mean, it's like discovering something I really like that I didn't think I would like is always a treat. It's like, and Son, when they hit their stride with Dr. Jerry Graham Jr. booking, they were good. I mean, they were legitimately good. And you look at the crowds and they were drawing at a time when everybody else wasn't.
Yeah.
I really mean it. I don't know why they were such a secret, even at the magazines I worked for. They were still around when I was working for those magazines. It was the end, but I was there. We're talking about the time when like Al Snow was a tag team champion, that period. We never touched them.
Yep.
And I'm like, why not?
Yeah.
Now I look back at those eras and I can't, you know how it was. Everybody wanted to sell magazines. They wanted Hulk Hogan. Nobody knew who the Great Roadshow was.
Yeah.
But then you look at those matches, Scott Steiner versus Great Roadshow, riveting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was really legitimately good stuff.
Two amateur standouts there. I mean, it's, they knew what they were doing. And it was fun because, Jerry Jaffe, Jerry Graham Jr., I will always say he's one of the best talkers ever.
Absolutely.
And I will, for that matter, I think Chris Carter is too. I think he was a fascinating, he always worked as a baby face, but I thought when he did that heel turn,
he
was next level. And
first of all, you didn't see it coming. You couldn't see that coming from 100 yards. Secondly, I still consider it, and go ahead and lambast me, you NWA fans, the second best heel turn of the 1980s was Chris Carter. I don't care. He went from just this white bread, all-American, rah-rah guy to you just wanted to smash him when he showed up on the talk show,
Sure.
with Terry Sullivan. Every wraparound was just this, he was this mean-spirited, nasty, oh my gosh, and violent in the ring.
And the fact that a lot of it stemmed from Jerry Graham Jr.'s having a car accident. I mean, there was a lot of, in it at one point involved, one of Graham's sons and everything. I mean, there was a lot of stuff going on there. But I mean, for those watching, I mean, Chris Carter was always he was always called, the spirit of America, right? And this all American, and then next thing you know, he's healing. Eventually he's teaming with Muhammad Saeed, and he's an international freedom fighter. So it's
fans. All I can say is this: we've talked about this 100 times, and I will beat this drum forever. Go to YouTube, find these shows from places like the Hotel Sofitel, right, and all those other arenas that use them. That show looked great at that period. See the heat in those arenas. I am telling you, when in an era where there was no heat, the homogenized WWF, you had Detroit was long gone. The NWA was trying to copy the WWE at that point, right?
Yep.
You had this federation in that area, Indiana, and wherever else you guys were promoting. I guess a little bit in Michigan and stuff like that.
Ohio, yeah.
Real old school heat. Real like fans crowding around the ring, going, "We're going to get you, Chris Carter."
Yeah.
I'll never forget the one that's on that videotape where he attacked Jerry Graham with his own cast and bloodied him up.
Yeah.
You think this? I'm telling you, it looks like there's going to be a riot, right?
Yeah, yeah. That was, another episode that I did of the show. I mean, it's been a little bit now, but since I came back was when I did that kind of that Bruiser Bedlam reunion episode.
Oh, I was about to mention that. Yeah,
yeah. And I had Jerry Graham Jr. and I had Chris Carter and I had who all was on there? I mean, Calypso Jim was on there. Rex Bodie, who was the first time. And the thing is, some of these guys hadn't talked to each other for years and years. At that point, and Great Wojo was supposed to be on there, and Wojo's old school. He couldn't figure out how to get on.
No, it happens.
Yeah, when I interviewed him, I had to ring up his phone and do it that way.
Yeah.
But he couldn't figure out how to get on the call. But it was the first time I'd ever tried to get. I think we had like 6 or 7 guys or something like that, and first time I'd ever tried to get that many guys, and it worked pretty well.
Listeners, if you can imagine, in a million years, there's an ad in the newspaper. And this is a legitimate thing. The Great Wojo, either as champion or just as his name, the Great Wojo, would take on fans, and you could win money if you could beat him in a certain amount of time. And it was legit, right, Dave? I mean, it was.
Everybody swears.
Who allows this, though? I mean, you got to figure the state athletic commissions or whatever, but I still find that one of the most remarkable things that a wrestling promotion ever did. And I knew it drew people, and I know there were some beer muscles guys that wanted to take him on, right?
But again, but Wojo that had that amateur back, he knew the tricks, right? I mean, he was an Olympic qualifier, was supposed to go to the Olympic Games, but it was the year that they boycotted the games. A Pan American Game participant. He had the legit background. He knew how to protect himself when he needed to. And but yeah, it was that's that they did that stretch for a while. And I actually think they introduced somebody through that man. What's that guy's name? Man Mountain Tyler, who wasn't much
that huge guy. Yeah,
wasn't much of a worker. But if I remember right, I think through that's how they introduced him.
You're right. He wasn't much of a worker. He's a lot to look at, though. I mean, oh my God, he was really one of the biggest guys I've ever seen in the ring, right? He was legit 7'5" or something.
Yeah, you see, that's guys like that. Like, no one knows who that is. I have tried to track down. I've asked Jerry. I've asked all these guys. What was that guy's name? I don't know. No one can remember what his real name is or where he's from. Or I'm like, I want to track this guy down and see if he's still around and still alive, and I want to try to talk to him. I'm determined. When I get the set something like that, I don't give up. I did it with Rex Bodie. No one could remember anything about him, and all I needed was one little kernel, and I went with it.
There you go. Very nice. Very nice. I'm glad you're keeping the spirit of that organization alive, too. You of all people, I think, seriously, out there in the world, are keeping the spirit of the WWA and Bruiser Bedlam alive. Bruiser Bedlam was a really good TV show with wraparounds and stuff like that, too. It's just so much better than you think it's going to be before you watch it. I'm telling you. Now there are some episodes that aren't. I will be first to say, and Dave, you'll admit this.
Yes.
They were in a slow period for a while.
Yes.
Yeah, and let's say some of the talent wasn't quite ready for prime time, but
Yeah.
they like I say, when Jerry got the book, when he really started cooking, that's when things started to percolate.
Yeah, and Jerry's a smart guy. He knew what he needed. He got some, Jerry had business connections, and he got some backers and some guys involved to invest, and so they could, up that production and do some things. And he got that the Miller distribution,
That was
sponsorship.
huge.
Yeah, I mean stuff like that. Prior to that mid '80s stuff, prior to Jerry taking over, some of that's rough. And that was the fun part talking to Dave McClain, because I wondered how he would approach that, because that's when he was, the face.
Right.
He was
Right.
And I thought, no, he called a spade on those. He was like, man,
yeah.
he was like, some of that was so, and I asked him about, a few of the copycat guys, and he's like, I don't know. He's like, he said it was so hard to go and try to call those matches and, to be serious. But he's like, but McClain was another smart guy. I mean, from back in then, even back then as a young guy in college and doing that stuff, he was promoting concerts and already spreading his wings to do more. And he says that he pushed to try to get Bruiser to more utilize women's wrestling and to give it a bigger stage. And Bruiser's like, oh, no one will come see that. Right. Blah, blah. And that's what ended up, and then, obviously McClain left and did the Glow thing, and now he does WOW. And then, I mean, I know people have mixed opinions of that or whatever else, but I don't think anybody can undermine the sensation, the impact that Glow had at that time.
I am not a fan.
I'm not either.
And in fact, I think in a way the show was kind of like Hee Haw mixed with
definitely
not very convincing women's wrestling, except for a couple of competitors. I think that the woman who became Ivory is a fantastic athlete. And she was part of that.
Yeah.
And a couple of the others too. They're good trainers and everything else, from what I understand. But it was like Hee Haw mixed with wrestling on a Saturday morning at 11 o'clock, at least in my market.
Yeah.
And I thought it did a little damage. I thought it kind of, well, to be honest, one of the first things that really exposed the business, to be honest with you, if you really want to call a spade a spade.
Yeah. When he first started, he said one of his trainers, and they helped him, was Princess Jasmine, who was wrestled a lot in the Midwest and whatever else, and was actually trained by Sailor Art Thomas, and she was pretty talented, but she was the one that worked with him to train these girls and everything else. But it was made to be a TV show, and nothing more. But it's remarkable how many people remember that it was a thing and remember Glow. But I guess it fit right in with the WWE cartoon or WWF cartoon and everything else at the time.
You had to mention Sailor Art Thomas, the most spectacular natural body in the history of anybody, right? Right?
Mm-hmm.
That was long before the steroid era, and
that's right.
He was the most magnificent looking athlete, right? I mean, he was amazing.
Yep, he was. Yeah,
and popular as all get out too.
Yep, sure.
I don't know how he became a sailor, but it's like he was always Sailor Art Thomas.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know much about how he even got started and stuff, but I don't know.
I don't either. I just know he was a major star and people bought tickets to see him. I know that much.
He did. Yeah. I know he held the WWA title a couple times.
Yeah.
And was big. I mean, it was a big draw in Detroit and up there, and worked with the Sheik and stuff up there too. He was a Midwest guy. But
so, do you have any secrets that you're willing to spill about future Dave Dynasty Wrestling Nostalgia podcast that you'd be willing to share with my audience? I mean, we're both brothers in WrestleCopia,
Yeah, I know.
Give me just a little glimmer of what's going on.
Not really, because right now I am in this weird point of flying by the seat of my pants so much right now, because I'm getting ready in a month to move. And it's by
the way, congratulations. I saw what you're moving to. Congratulations.
Yeah. So I feel like I'm scrambling with everything because I've got so many things going on. So I don't know that I've planned that far ahead. I don't know. It's not 100% yet, but it's going to be a weird interview, I think. Not too long ago, I had Sergeant Buddy Lee Parker on.
Okay.
And I talked to him. And he told me that his partner, whose name's Dale, which was Lieutenant James Earl Wright in the State Patrol, that he hadn't spoken to him in decades and didn't know how to get hold of him and everything else. Well, I found Dale. I tracked down Dale, and I've talked to him several times since then. And in theory, I have them both agreeing to do a joint State Patrol interview. and I'm hoping that they will not speak to each other until we do the interview because I want to see what happens when these two talk for the first time over years. I know the State Patrol didn't have much of a career to talk about, but I'm more interested now in this human interest story. These two guys that pretty much trained, came up, wrestled all those years, hung out with each other, traveled with each other, and now haven't seen each other in several decades, and seeing how that rekindles and how they talk.
Buddy Lee Parker is one of those guys who's really a big influence behind the scenes that people don't realize, right?
Yeah, he was.
How many guys did he work with, train?
So many. And, I mean, he posts a lot of pictures online of, because, obviously one of his biggest is, Goldberg. He had such a huge hand in getting Goldberg ready, but he has these pictures of him working with Goldberg where he's wearing pretty much padding while Goldberg throws him around and he teaches Goldberg stuff. But we talked about that in the interview, guys he worked with like that. And, he worked with Diamond Dallas Page when he was, getting ready to try it, wrestling again. He, who else was it? Somewhere, but and then we did also talk about El Gigante, the Giant Gonzalez, and how he worked with him and how he, the troubles that entailed. But yeah, I mean, we ran that power plant for many, many years and everything else. But, other than that, I don't have a whole lot. I don't have a whole lot planned. I'm kind of flying by the seat.
I listen, I have moved. You're making a big step, and I understand how that really takes precedent over everything at times like that. It really does.
It's one of those times. It's one of those things where it's like you get panicky when I sit there. I'm like, oh, I don't have any interview scheduled. I need to reach out to some guys, and it's like it is. But you get so busy with something else. And
here's the deal with this thing that I do. I have a tendency to do, and I've done this like 4 times, like something like 7 or 8 interviews in 5 days.
Yeah, me too.
So I put a lot of stuff in the can, and then I, do the wraparounds with our co-host and stuff like that, and it all works pretty well. But the thing is that when I have them all stacked up and they're sent to my podcast host and they're ready to go out on the date they're supposed to, I feel guilty. Yes, right? As a podcast, don't you go, oh God, I should be doing something right now. And when you don't really have to.
Yeah.
That such is the life of putting a podcast together on a weekly basis. You always feel like you should be sitting down and talking to somebody.
I do. Yeah. I mean, that's what I'll do. I mean, if I get, a few weeks ahead and, I'm feeling good, I'm like, okay, now I'm in a good place. I'm about a month ahead or whatever it might be. And then it's like, but then if I try to relax, I'm always like, well, yeah, but what if something happened? What if I get to the end of that 4 weeks or towards the end of that, and I'm having trouble getting guys or scheduling a guy. It's like, maybe I should just keep going and stay ahead of it in case I run into an issue or it's a weird thing. I try to keep that balance where I don't pressure myself too much because I don't want to feel like a chore.
Right.
Because it's fun. I like the talking, the conversation. That's why, part of it. So I don't want it to feel like a chore. So if I get to that point where I feel too much pressure, I put too much pressure on myself, I'm not afraid to say, you know what, I'm gonna take a step back and I'm gonna take a week or I'm gonna do this or do that. And because I can't let it get to that. It's I'm no interest in that.
But one thing I've learned in 4 years of podcasting, and this is one thing I know for sure, podcasting is an inexact science.
Yeah, it is.
Right when you think you got the tiger by the tail, he will swing around and bite you right in the butt. And it's like things happen. There's technical difficulties. People cancel at the last second. This and that and the other thing. Or there was one time when the host that I used, it was a while back, they were part of that Cloudflare system went down, and I couldn't get any stats from them for like 6 weeks.
Yeah,
all kinds of things happen in this business, and you gotta love doing it because ain't none of us turning into millionaires from this stuff. I'll tell you that right now, right, Dave?
Nope. Nope. That's why I said if I'm going to do this and if I'm going to commit to it, I'm doing it from the angle of this is a historical preservation. I'm getting guys to be able to tell their stories and preserve them and let them do that. And that's my goal. That's my objective. Otherwise, you can just you drive yourself crazy if you try to think you're going to get rich off of it or anything else. It's to me, this is it's a modern form of documentation, right? And some of these guys, like with Fred Curry, it's like I felt like I'd met Fred Curry a few times and talked to him in person and different things like that. But it's like I wanted something on record, before there couldn't be an on record with Fred. I've had some guys like that I've spoke with and exchanged emails and this and that, and then you think, okay, we'll get a schedule, we'll do this, do that. Oh, after you do that, and I've had a couple that's it never got to never got that chance. So I try to, that's my angle on it is, let these guys tell their stories, let them feel a little, feel appreciated, let them reminisce, and, just let them have fun for a little bit.
But my eyes, you're doing important work. You are to me, the number one source for information on the Indianapolis-based promotion. I think you've done a better job than anybody out there in keeping the spirit of that thing alive, and I want to thank you for it. It's added a lot of fun. I got to meet you through all this stuff, and it's been, like I said, there's people like you are invaluable to us old school fans. On his own dime, he takes these U-matic tapes and formats them and puts them on YouTube. That is not cheap, folks. Right? It's not.
No,
it's not a thing.
It's not. But the thing is, though, I get just as excited as anybody else to see what's on these tapes, though. So
I bet you do.
It is every time when I hear from that guy, oh, he's got them done or whatever. It's like I am so excited. I just can't. I just like the guy that has done them. He's an hour away from me too, so it's a little drive. And but every time it's like I just can't wait to get there and get them and see them. And again, that's it's kind of something I had to kind of put on pause a little bit with all this move stuff, and it's like now I'm moving down there. I guess like I'm going to find this. I'm going to find a new guy down there to finish because I still have a bunch, and I've got some reels, the old reel tape. I don't know what they are. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what time period they're from. I've got a few of those, and I can't find anybody to even try to do it.
But anyway, you're doing a lot of work, and I really appreciate everything you do. It's like, and the fact that we're kind of like compadres in the WrestleCopia Podcast Network, and Ray Russell's a great guy, and he's easy to work with, and it's been nothing but fun. That's the main thing,
I know it is.
I hope you come back here sometime soon. We'll do a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But for right now, I just want to let people know what you're up to, and thank you for the work you do.
Yeah.
Go on YouTube and see his stuff. You're Nostalgic Dave Dynasty on YouTube, right?
Yep, Nostalgic Dave Dynasty. If you look up Nostalgic Dave Dynasty, you can find me on pretty much everywhere. I put that as my title on a lot of my social media too. So I'm not hard to find. If you look that up or Dick the Bruiser, you're bound to find me. And but I post a lot. I do a lot of newspaper articles. I spend a lot of time on newspapers.com, and every day I do it every day. I try to find card results for the following day. I'm doing it every day. And it's fascinating. But I'm fascinated when I see these things and these the artwork and the layouts, and Bruiser wasn't real complicated with his ads. So when something kind of unique comes up, and it's a treat. But
it is a treat. There's nothing I enjoy more than flipping on my Facebook, scrolling down and seeing somebody put some ad for some card in 1976 somewhere, and it's always brings you back, and it makes you look at some odd pairings and guys with different names back then and different guises, and those ads were history listed all in themselves. They really are.
Sure. Oh, they definitely are. But and again, like I said, I love it. It's I have to cut myself off sometimes because I go down rabbit holes, and I just the more I find, the more I keep looking, and I spend so much time on newspapers.com because it is an intense hobby of mine. And not only just for wrestling, just for other things I'm interested too. I love looking up if whatever music related, movie related. I go on there all the time and I'm searching out stuff. It's such a wild tool.
Very cool. Well, listen, Dave, thanks for being here.
Sure.
Everybody go and check out Wrestle Nostalgia. Check out Nostalgic Dave Dynasty on YouTube. Just check him out. Type his name in your browser, and you will have a world of wrestling entertainment. Sure. Dave, always a pleasure, man. We'll talk soon, right?
Yep. Thanks, Bob.
Dave Dynasty, everybody. Attention, Gen Xers. If you'd like to explore the era that appeals to you, look no further than GenerationXWire.com. The generation who grew up with elite in entertainment, music, movies, TV, books, pro wrestling, and more finally has a one-stop destination for all their Gen X needs. From Aerosmith to Batman to the Killer Bees to the Twilight Zone, there's something for everybody at GenerationXWire.com. You won't find a more eclectic mix of pop culture content than at the leading website that specializes in the greatest generation, GenerationXWire.com. Check it out today. Well, that's it for this time. I want to thank our good friend Joe Puccio. And I want to thank Dave Dynasty for, I think he's our 3-Timers Club or something like that. Great to have him on the show always. I was recently on his show. You might want to check that out. You can find all of us here in the WrestleCopia Podcast Network. Just go to WrestleCopia.com. Hit a couple of buttons, and there you are. Write to us, outdatedwrestling@gmail.com. Find me on Facebook. I'm the only Bob Smith that you'll see singing with B.B. King right on my page. Not to mention a bunch of wrestling stuff in there, too, and entertainment. We have a sister podcast called The Outdated Entertainment Hour. You might want to check that out as well. As I said, The Outdated Wrestling Hour is part of the WrestleCopia Podcast Network, and both The Outdated Wrestling Hour and The Outdated Entertainment Hour are productions of Bob Smith's podcasts. Our website, outdatedwrestling.buzzsprout.com. All of our episodes are there. Check them out free of charge, FOC. Just click a link and enjoy. Also there, you can read about our very informal Outdated Wrestling Hour fan club, where for a nominal fee, as low as $3 a month, you can, help us perpetuate what we're doing here on both of our podcasts. If you enjoy the show, come say hello. I am trying to schedule a Zoom-style meeting as we speak. For anybody who's a member, come and talk, usually on an evening during the week. Just check out the site. You'll find out everything you need to know about that and everything else. We are available wherever podcasts are purveyed. I think that's it for the public service announcements. Always a great time with Dave Dynasty. A lot of great wrestling podcasts out there. I am not in competition with any of them. I enjoy them as much as most of the fans do. The good ones are really good. Dave's got a great one. So that's it. My name's Bob Smith. I used to be with Pro Wrestling Illustrated, a bunch of other magazines. I was on the road as a musician, as Robert Charles, and a lot of other cool stuff that I'm grateful for as I see the gray hairs coming in more by the day. Speaking of gray hairs, Ringo Starr's got a great new country album. He's also been performing live. The All-Star is about to come back. You might want to check that out. You know what he says on every show, particularly at the end? Peace and love, brothers and sisters. Peace and love.